The song was Survivor. I'm Robert Cray, and these are the sounds of the time. At the age of 72, Robert Cray, a living icon of American blues, has suddenly broken his silence about his old friend Eric Clapton after more than 3 decades together. How did the friendship once considered the strongest in the blues world fall apart? Why did Robert Cray choose to speak out after many years of silence? The story behind those famous guitar sounds is making the whole music world stop and listen. Robert Cray and Eric Clapton met when both were at their creative peak. Cray had just gained attention for his distinctive blues soul sound in Bad Influence and Strong Persuader, while Clapton was a global icon of British guitar. Your angry words sound clear and walls. Oh, but I'm a change man. Get your other friend to get you what you want now. They first met backstage at a show in the US and quickly found musical chemistry. Clapton once said, "Robert reminded me why I fell in love with the blues in the first place. His sound was pure, honest, and never pretentious." Craig was still new to the international scene, but his stage presence and restrained playing caught Clapton's attention. Temptation. A year later, Cray was invited to open for some of Clapton's biggest shows in the US, the beginning of a friendship that would last more than 30 years. In 1989, Clapton invited Cray into the studio for the Journeyman album. Together, they wrote the song Old Love, which became one of the most famous records of their careers. The song later appeared on numerous shows and tours and is considered a symbol of their early collaboration. Song. It's a conversation between two guitars, Clapton once said in an interview about Cray. During the Royal Albert Hall performances, audiences saw a rare chemistry between the two, not a technical competition, but a conversation through each note. Critics at the time saw Cray as the new breath of modern blues, while Clapton as the bridge between traditional blues and rock. This combination helped the two artists complement each other. Craig was not just a guest, he gradually became part of Clapton's musical team. The two shared the stage at major events, hours-long concerts with tens of thousands of spectators around the world. In the following years, their friendship continued to grow. Cray appeared in many of Clapton's projects, from solo performances to charity concerts. Many described the relationship as that of a teacher and a student, but for Cray, it was a mutual respect between two mature artists. "I learned from Eric how to put emotion into the music. He didn't just play the blues, he lived it." The late 1980s saw a perfect blend of the two styles. Clapton still had a British feel. Cray represented the American roots. Together, they shaped the face of contemporary blues, rekindling global interest in a genre that had seemed forgotten. Their trust grew with each tour and each recording. After an inspiring early collaboration, they continued to stand together on the world's biggest stages where friendship and music became one. But behind those perfect notes, later events showed that the relationship would face challenges no one expected. Brothers on the road. Robert Cray and Eric Clapton have appeared together on many big stages for more than 2 decades. From international shows to special events for guitarists, they are a familiar image of modern blues, representing 2 generations united in the same musical ideals. After their successful collaboration on Old Love, Cray became a regular guest on Clapton's tours. In a conversation with a music magazine, Clapton once said, "When Robert plays, I know I don't have to worry about anything. He brings a security that few people have." That statement reflects the trust between the two artists built over dozens of performances together. They performed in front of thousands of audiences, including nights considered milestones in contemporary blues. The performance in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin in 1990 was one of the most memorable moments. Craig and Clapton shared the stage with Buddy Guy, Jimmy Vaughan, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. They played Sweet Home Chicago, a blues classic that millions of people would later hear. It was the last night Stevie Ray Vaughan performed before he died in a helicopter crash after the show. The event became part of blues history, and Cray and Clapton were there. After the show, Cray continued to accompany Clapton on the Journeyman World Tour. He opened many shows, then joined Clapton to perform Old Love, a song that had been synonymous with both of them since their first collaboration. On stage, they often stood side by side, merging into minutes-long guitar solos, demonstrating a rare chemistry between two artists from two different cultures. From 2004 to 2010, Cray was a regular at the Crossroads Guitar Festival, an event founded by Clapton to raise funds for the Crossroads Center Rehabilitation Facility in Antigua. Their performances with B.B. King, Ronnie Wood, and Jimmy Vaughn were recorded and distributed worldwide, becoming a valuable document in blues history. Craig once said, "What I respect about Eric is that he never forgets where the blues began. Wherever he plays, he always mentions the people who laid the foundation for us. At charity events and on tour, they showed their solidarity not as solo artists, but as friends, sharing a common heritage." Many albums and TV shows from this period feature Cray appearing alongside Clapton. From the 24 nights at the Royal Albert Hall to TV specials, they are considered an iconic duo in preserving and renewing the blues sound globally. Clapton has repeatedly highlighted Craig's influence. In a 2006 interview, he said, "Robert has something that many people have been searching for their whole lives: honesty in his playing. He doesn't chase technique. He chases emotion." Craig, on the other hand, has always been appreciative. "Playing with Eric was my chance to learn to put music above everything else. But, in 2021 song and a few lyrics, ended what was considered the closest relationship in the blues world, the rift." At the end of 2020, Eric Clapton released the Van Morrison song, Stand and Deliver, which was a protest against lockdowns and vaccinations during the COVID-19 pandemic. The song quickly gained attention, but the lyrics, "Do you want to be a free man, or do you want to be a slave?" It deeply offended Robert Cray. For someone born in Georgia during the era of apartheid, words like slave carried heavy historical connotations. Cray, after hearing the song, emailed Clapton directly expressing his surprise at the lyrical choice. In the letter, he questioned the rationale for using the image of slave in the current social context. Clapton replied that the song is about people who were enslaved in England in the past, not about black slaves. The answer disappointed Cray, who felt that the explanation ignored historical truth and was insensitive to people of color. A person close to Cray at the time said that he deleted all emails and stopped contact. This ended 3 decades of close friendship between the two artists, who were once considered brothers. In a later interview, Craig confirmed, "I didn't want to stand with someone who was being selfish and radical. I played the blues for empathy, not for division." In early 2021, Cray officially withdrew from the set list for Clapton's European tour. The change was announced internally between the bands, and Cray chose to remain silent in public. Those who have followed both careers noted that this was the first time in many years that Cray had not appeared at any event related to Clapton. In subsequent conversations, Clapton avoided mentioning Cray directly. A member of the tour's organizers confirmed that Clapton wanted to avoid further confusion. Nevertheless, the song Stand and Deliver remained in the promotional catalog, and that only reinforced Craig's belief that the withdrawal was necessary. Cray was born into an environment where racial memories were still vivid, so hearing a close friend compare personal freedom to slavery felt like a betrayal. In an interview with the Washington Post in late 2021, he said, "I've forgiven past mistakes for the sake of music, but at some point, you have to put your conscience before friendship." Clapton did not respond directly to Craig's comments. In a rare reference to the song, he only mentioned that music is a place for personal freedom. Meanwhile, Cray chose to avoid the argument, saying, "I'm not going to talk about Eric anymore. I've said enough." The relationship between them ended after more than 35 years of collaboration. From legendary performances, months-long tours to intimate recording sessions in small rooms, everything stopped after one song. There were no apologies, no private meetings, just a long silence. Among blues artists, many expressed regret. Cray is known for being a private person, always keeping his distance from the media. His speaking out, nevertheless, moderate, shows that this rift cannot be healed. When asked if there is a possibility of a reunion, he replied succinctly, "No, that's over." From 2022, Clapton continued his tour in Europe without Cray. The new band still performed Old Love, the song they wrote together. Craig stayed in the US preparing for his own projects, no longer mentioning his old friend's name. This period marked the end of a major chapter in modern blues history. The photos of the two together stopped in 2019, and after that, there were no more moments. Between them, everything ended with silence. What was once a symbol of understanding in music now became an unbridgeable distance. The time after that incident saw Cray choose calm as the answer. At 72, he only talks about the present, about his work, and about his belief that music should truly reflect people. The story between Cray and Clapton ends there, but Craig's musical journey continues in his own way. Silence, integrity, and legacy. Since 2023, Robert Cray has maintained independent musical activities, appearing on many stages in Europe and the US. He performs classic blues songs interspersed with new songs from the album That's What I Heard. These shows attract large audiences, but Cray always avoids mentioning Eric Clapton. In an interview with Hit Channel in early 2024, Cray said, "I just want to focus on my music. Everyone has their own path, and I follow the path I believe is right." The short statement clearly expresses his point of view without avoiding or bringing up old stories. At 72, he devotes his time to music and family, maintaining the habit of leaving the spotlight immediately after finishing a performance. In July 2025, Blues Blast magazine published a lengthy interview recording images of Cray still regularly practicing and touring. His voice was commented on as still having a rare power and warmth after half a century of performing. When asked about how to maintain his energy, Cray answered briefly, "Music is what keeps me going. It is at the center of everything." In articles about his career, many journalists recall the time of cooperation between Cray and Clapton as part of history, but he himself does not participate in commenting. Those close to him say that he still keeps in touch with some artists who performed at the Crossroads Festival, but is no longer involved in any projects related to Clapton. Craig continues to perform at major music festivals, such as the Montreux Jazz Festival and North Sea Jazz. On stage, he still has the same demeanor, calm, focused, and almost never talks much. In song introductions, Cray usually just says the name of the song, then lets the music speak for itself. In August 2025, on the occasion of his 72nd birthday, Craig shared in a short interview, "I believe in honesty in art. When you lose that, you lose the reason to play music." This statement is widely quoted, considered his manifesto in the current period. No longer appearing in major TV shows or collaborative projects, Craig chose to return to a quiet life. He still records, still performs, but only appears when he really wants to. For fans, his silence is understood as a sign of self-control. An artist who has come a long way and now chooses to keep what is purest. In recent years, articles about Cray have focused on his contributions to modern blues rather than his personal relationships. His name appears on lists of the most influential artists still active. With more than 20 albums and 5 Grammy Awards, Cray has become representative of a generation of artists who have maintained their form and reputation without much fuss. In 2025, music information sites updated Craig's profile, confirming that he had withdrawn from Clapton's 2022 European tour and had never collaborated again. All official data stopped there. No comments, no new statements. At 72, Robert Cray still stood on stage with his familiar Fender Stratocaster. Old songs were played with the maturity of someone who had lived with music. When the audience cheered, he just smiled and said nothing more. Craig's silence became the thing that the public respected the most, silent but meaningful. In the next part of this journey, Craig's roots from his childhood in the American South to his path to the world will show why he maintained that courage for more than half a century. The roots beneath the rhythm. Robert Cray was born on August 1953 in Columbus, Georgia, in the context of America, still affected by racial policies. His father served in the military. His mother was a housewife. The Cray family moved frequently for his father's duties from Virginia, California to Germany before settling in Tacoma, Washington. The constant moving exposed Cray to many cultures, but also taught him early independence and joy in music. As a child, Cray studied piano, but was quickly attracted to guitar. After seeing the Beatles perform on television, he completely changed direction, began practicing guitar every day, and listened to black blues artists like Albert Collins, Muddy Waters, Freddie King, and B.B. King. Their music had a strong influence, helping him understand the blues as more than just a musical genre, but also a way of telling African-American history and pain. In high school, Cray formed his first band, One Way Street. He later formed the Cray Hawks with harmonica player Curtis Salgado. They performed in bars, colleges, and small clubs in the Northwest. The combination of blues, soul, and R&B gradually created Craig's own style, sophisticated, lean, and emotional. By the late 1970s, Cray began to gain wider recognition. He released his debut album, Who's Been Talking, in 1980 on Tomato Records. Although not a commercial success, the album earned Craig critical acclaim for his guitar playing and distinctive vocals. He then signed with High Tone Records and released Bad Influence 1983, which cemented his place in the blues scene. In 1985, Cray released Showdown, featuring collaborations with Albert Collins and Johnny Copeland. The album won a Grammy, cementing Cray as a leading blues artist. A year later, Strong Persuader was released, selling over 1 million copies worldwide and earning another Grammy. The album's track, Smoking Gun, became a hit on the pop and rock charts, bringing blues back to the center of popular music. Cray was now considered a leading figure in the modern blues movement, a contemporary of Stevie Ray Vaughan and Albert Collins. He took blues out of its old mold by incorporating soul and R&B sounds while maintaining the genre's traditional spirit. With his signature Fender Stratocaster, Cray produced a bright, clear, and nuanced sound that many producers described as the intersection of emotion and technique. During the 1980s, Cray not only made a name for himself through his music, but also through his serious work ethic. He once said, "I just want to make music I believe in. Reputation is never more important than the sound itself." It was this mindset that helped him maintain a steady career for more than half a century. Contemporaries recognize Cray for his ability to maintain his identity while still evolving his music with the times. With more than 20 albums and 5 Grammy Awards, he has become one of the most influential blues artists alive. In 2011, Cray was inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, and in 2017 received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Americana Music Association. Those who have worked with Cray describe him as a calm, quiet man, but always certain in every decision. He does not follow trends, does not randomly collaborate just to seek attention. Every recording, every project is carefully selected. In Cray's music, the audience can feel the respect for the previous generation of artists and the effort to preserve the core values of blues. His career spans more than 50 years. With a stable performance style and a simple lifestyle, Cray remains loyal to the original sound and original spirit of the genre that nurtured him. The achievements, titles, and respect he receives all come from his perseverance and belief in real music. And that is the journey of Robert Cray, who has kept the blues guitar for more than half a century, from the stages with Eric Clapton to choosing silence as a way to speak the true value of music. At 72, he still stands in the spotlight, not making any noise, just letting the sound of the guitar tell the story. If you feel this story touches something in you, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share the video with your friends who love blues music, and subscribe to the channel to see more stories about other music legends. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.